How's it going, everybody? It has been a while since we've made a League of Legends video, especially a guide, but I'm happy to say that we're back. We'll be continuing to update our Katarina guide on MOBA Fire. It is currently fully up to date for this current patch as of 23rd of July for Season 12. Now, we're going to be talking about itemization, runes, pretty much the whole batch. So if you want more information in text format, the best way that it's going to be continuously updated is on my MOBA Fire guide, which you can find in the description down below. Now, if you like the video format, we're going to be showcasing this as well. So this is for people that don't want to read extensively, okay? And you just want to see the video and you just want the information. Well, let's talk about it. So here we go. Let's get started. The first thing I'll talk about is runes. There is multiple runes that you can go for depending on the situation, and I'll explain some of them now. Okay, this is the first rune page that I'm going to explain here. This starts with Conqueror, Triumph, Legend Tenacity, Last Stand, Go Resolve, Conditioning, and Overgrowth. You take double of adaptive and either MR or Armor, depending if you're against AP or AD. So I'm against Zed, I go Armor. If I'm against AP, I go MR. There's also something else you can do. Since you're going Overgrowth, you can actually choose this and choose Armor or MR, depending on your matchup, and then select this for health per level. Now, Overgrowth and just the nature of health in this game now, mythic items are granting health, and with Overgrowth, this gives you a lot of health as well. For each minion that dies, you're getting a lot of health. And with this, it increases even more, up to 140 to the maximum based on level. So you can do this as well. How you choose to do this is completely up to you, but this is an option that you can mess around with depending on how you want to approach the situation. All right, but this is rune page number 1. Conditioning is really good because the durability patch. Obviously, with the durability patch, you get more defensive. It's harder to kill people and stuff, but also you get more defensive stats. So here you see you have +9 armor, +9 MR, which will help you survive in general and increase your armor and magic resistance by 4%. So conditioning is really, really good. You can also go bone plating if you're against a matchup that goes like heavy trading, or second wind. It's usually like these 3 options you're going to alternate between each matchup. Second wind is really good if you're going to play Doran Shield against heavy poke, like if you're against Zerath rather. If you're up against him, you can go second wind, or you can just go for conditioning and just have that. Once you reach 12 minutes, you're going to have the extra MR and armor, and you'll just be aggressive at level 3 anyway, so this can still be fine. You can still be very aggressive at level 3 as Katarina, because that's like your time to all in. It's just about not taking too much poke damage early on, so it enables you to have these aggressive plays, right? So this is rune page number 1. With Conqueror, it's really, really good. Like, Conqueror is so good for extended trades. You start longsword and health pots, and you all in at level 3. Level 2 if the opportunity is there, but usually level 3 you let the enemy push, you just don't take too much damage, and then you all in them and you destroy them, and you just keep auto attacking with longsword and keep racking up Conqueror stacks and land both your daggers, ignite, and boom. I've killed so many people this way. I've killed so many solo laners with Conqueror this way, so it's really, really good. The others are pretty self-explanatory. Legend Tenacity if they have CC. If they don't have CC, go Alacrity, because you have no reason to go, to stick with Tenacity if you don't need it. So you can just go for the Alacrity and have the extra attack speed since you're going Nash's Tooth, and it makes last hitting a little easier, and it makes you hit more attacks with the long sword, just in general, to have more DPS with auto attacks. So that's really good. Triumph is pretty self-explanatory. That's 100% go-to. And Last Stand. You can choose Coup de Roi or Last Stand, but I like Last Stand because you deal more damage when you're below 60% health, which is, it's really big that the fact that the max damage is gained at 30% health. This makes you, like, It's just I like it more because Cat already shreds and deletes people anyway. That Kudra would barely, for me, at least for me personally, I don't see it making that much of a difference. Katarina literally deletes people so quick. Kudra wouldn't change that much in quote unquote how fast you can delete someone. So I just go Last Stand and I just beat ass, and it's great. Yeah, I love Last Stand. So this is room page number 1. Room page number 2 is with Electrocute. So you go Electrocute, Sudden Impact, Eyeball, and Relentless Hunter. For the secondary, you just go Triumph and Legend Tenacity, and that's pretty much your go-to if you're playing Electrocute. Now, how do you choose between Electrocute and Conqueror? How do you choose which one to go for? Electrocute is for burst, Conqueror is for extended trades, and it's really, really good later on. So if you're gonna go for a burst build and you have Protobelt, for example, if you're rushing Protobelt with Nashor's Tooth, you're rushing Nashor's Tooth and then you're buying Protobelt later. I'm gonna get into itemization later. But essentially, this helps you be aggressive early on. I personally just go Conqueror and I just beat ass because, I mean, Resolve gives you that amazing health from Overgrowth. But this is still a valid option. You can go for this. You don't have to go Legend Tenacity, by the way. You can go Last Stand instead of Legend Tenacity. But Legend Tenacity if they have CC, right? So make that priority. But yeah, make sure you definitely go Triumph as your option here. Triumph is really, really good on Cat. But yeah, you go Electrocute if they aren't tanky and they don't have much health and you can just one-shot people if you want to go for that. You go Conqueror for extended trades, and Conqueror is really good usually with Riftmaker, but it's also really good with Protobelt. Riftmaker is really good with Conqueror against high HP targets and people that are going to be tanky. So that's something to keep in mind. But my default is pretty much this. So you can choose whatever between the two. But this is my go-to. And pretty much I always go for this because it's really good and just slaps. So I love this room page. You can actually change this if you want to Domination if you want. And go Sudden Impact and Relentless Hunter. This is also an option for you if you don't want Resolve, you feel like you don't need Resolve. Completely up to you. Resolve is just too good because of conditioning and Overgrowth, like having that extra health, and the fact that you're buying Riftmaker or Protobelt, you're going to have a lot of health, and this complements your build very, very well. So this for me is the default, but you can play around how you want. There's one more room page. There's one more keystone that I'm not mentioning here, and you're probably wondering why. And you already know what I'm talking about. It's First Strike. This you can find here in Inspiration. There's a reason why I don't prefer this. Now, it's completely up to you. It's completely viable, by the way. It is completely viable. You can play with this if you want, okay? But if I want Burst, I just play Electrocute. I don't necessarily need First Strike. But you can play for this if you want, and if you like the Inspiration tree and you want your magical footwear, your whatever it is you want Biscuit, you can go for that, and you want Cosmic Insight or Tonic, Time Warp Tonic, these are all valid options. You can go for this if you wish, right? You don't even need Biscuit. You can even go like Futures Market and get items faster, or go in debt and all that stuff. But I'm not going to mention this as one of the builds that I personally go, but this is definitely something you can go if you want. But again, if I want Burst in a short amount of seconds, I literally just go Domination Skill Tree and I just go Electrocute. This is, however, an option, but again, it's up to you. Alright, so now we're going to be talking about itemization and how you're going to build Katarina in general. So you have many options for starting options. Dormblade is the least one that I prioritize nowadays. I used to before, but it's no point now. Just go Longsword if you want to be aggressive. 10 AD is so much better, and you're an all-in champion. Longsword is probably your best starting item if you want to all-in, especially if you have Conqueror as well. Dark Seal is really good if you're playing Electrocute and you want that extra AP with Electrocute, and it's also really good for wave clearing early on. It also helps with all-in, so Dark Seal or Longsword are usually your options. Door and Shield if you're against heavy poke. This is completely viable as well. If you want the extra health, plus you get a health potion with it as well. And with Second Wind, this is really good. So you'll be able to survive a lot of poke. So keep this in mind. Like Door and Shield is still not a bad option. It is still very good option on Katarina. It's just not my playstyle. I wouldn't personally go for this, and especially if you're like most of you guys are probably from Iron to Platinum watching this video, or maybe you're Diamond. I mean, I wouldn't imagine a Master or a Challenger watching this. So you're trying to climb. You're trying to understand like how Cat is played, right? So generally speaking, you want to play Katarina aggressively, especially in the lower elos. So going Longsword to me makes the most sense, where you're going to be going in and just doing damage at level 3. The whole plan, you need to have a game plan for early game. Just know that if you're against a ranged champion, starting Longsword is really good, because you can all in them at level 3. Just let them push, don't take poke, wait till level 3. Then start all-inning with EW auto attacks while avoiding their skill shots and avoid their abilities. You can even bait an ability and then all-in them. And Longsword just helps you do that early on. It helps you get that early kill. So Longsword for me is 100% the way to go, and is pretty much my default starting item. So I start Longsword and I buy health potions. 3 health potions in total. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Dornblade is I probably would remove this here at this point. There's no point in me playing Dornblade anymore. Longsword is the way to go. Core items. So these are going to be items you're going to buy every game, except the reason I have these 2 here is because I choose between 2 of them. You don't buy 2 of them, obviously, because they're both mythic items. And I choose one of the shoes, depending on the situation. Okay, your starting item is always going to be Gnash's Tooth. This is by far the best one to rush on Cat. Not only does it have that beautiful, sweet on-hit damage, but it complements Katarina's entire kit fully with her shumpos. And since you're shumpoing a lot, you're getting a lot of on-hit damage, especially with your daggers as well with your shumpo. It just makes a lot more sense to just rush Gnash's Tooth every game. Your next 2 items are going to depending on the situation. If they're tanky and they have a lot of health, buy Riftmaker. If you want burst and you want to kill people fast and they don't have a lot of health, they don't have many tanks, go Protobelt. These are 2 great options for these different situations. So see what they have. You're in Champion Select, right? See what the enemy has, decide what you're going to buy, and play around that. So that's how I look at it. I always select these 2 mythic options, okay? Your boots, default Sork shoes. You want magic penetration, you want damage. Merc treads, I don't really buy this anymore, really. I just kind of have it there as an option, but I don't really buy this. I'm just trying to win games. So I just play Sork shoes. I'm a damage dealer. More damage gives you more resets. More resets equal completely snowballing shit on the enemy team. So I go for the magic penetration. For me, it makes the most sense, so we definitely do that. Okay, so here's some of your options here, and honestly, Shadow Flame is at the bottom of the list in your priority items. I'll explain why in a second, okay? But here's your main items. It's either going to be Zanya, Rabadon, and Void. All these 3 items you're going to have. Like, every game you're going to have these 3 items. Shadow Flame is really, really not my style. Simply because I feel like you buy this item way too late as Katarina, especially because you have Gnash's Tooth already, Protobelt, and Shoes. That's 3 items that you have completed. Alright? If your 4th item is going to be Shadow Flame, it's a little bit too late. I feel like at 4 item, it's better to just go Rabadon or something like that, because Rabadon just gives you so much more damage. Now, I'm going to tell you in what situation you would get Shadow Flame. You would get Shadow Flame as an item in general when they don't have much magic resistance. This basically shreds it. You get Void Staff if they have magic resistance and they start building it, you buy this. If they aren't building MR and you're just snowballing, Rabadon's Death Cap is the way to go. This is an item you always want. It's your big AP item. Zanya's if you need the defensive active to help you survive. Here's why I don't buy Zanya's too often, early on especially. Like after I finish 3 items here, I always go for either Rabadon or Void, and I buy Zanya later. The reason I do that is because I want to have the most amount of damage possible. I'm kind of a damage Andy. Okay, you probably get it at this point, right? I'm a damage Andy. I like my damage. I don't like too much defensiveness. But even against Zed, they have 3 AD, they have 4 AD. It's worth getting Zhonya's or Zed ult to counter Zed ult. Zhonya is really good. But if you one-shot the Zed, you wouldn't need Zhonya. If you just play aggressive, kill him before he kills you, you wouldn't need Zhonya. The active is really good, but remember that it's only for 2.5 seconds, and after you break out of it, they can just target you again. With that being said, I always buy Zhonya in every game. It's just when I buy it will depend on the situation. Usually if I'm ahead, I just buy Rabadon, or if I want to do a lot of damage, I would just go Rab. Again, Zhonya is an option. Shadow Flame is the least prior option for me, because you buy it way too late. I feel like this is better to buy early, but because Katarina's core items are already bought so early, like you prioritize these, that there's no time to buy Shadow Flame. So I would definitely stick with these last 3 items. These are all completely situational here. These items don't really matter, so I would just ignore this. This is like, I'm telling you, I don't want to overwhelm your brain and give you like a million different, AD Katarina, Harvester, Dark Harvester Katarina, and give you like multiple build paths. I like to make this guide a little bit more simplistic and just what you need to pick and how to pick it, what you need to choose, and that's it. I just want to make this simple. I just have these here just because, but I'd never actually buy any of them. This must be like from old times. But yeah, just ignore this section here. Consumables, obviously, you're going to have your refillable, pots, and elixir of sorcery. And that's pretty much your itemization build. You're going to build all these in different situations, and especially like those last 3 items, the build order is going to differ, and you choose one of the mythic items. And that's pretty much it, really, how you look at it. Just remember, level 3 is your best friend. Go for the strong, early all-in if you can at level 3, and try to get a pick. Conqueror, Electrocute are great. First Strike is okay. It's good. I don't prefer it, but you can choose between Electrocute or First Strike. So that's pretty much it about it for the guide, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to check out our Katarina guide down below in the description. Hopefully it helps you out, and I'll catch you in the arena. Peace out. Love you guys. Bye-bye.